Okay, I'll just let you ask questions. We're ready to get on the plane.
Is Dan able to do anything this week, and what is his prognosis for Saturday?
Yeah, he was involved a little bit, and my expectations is that he'll play. I'm sure that's Danny's at this point. So we'll see. There's a little bit of time to go, but expected to play.
If something happens in a game where he tweaks that ankle again, what's the emergency break glass in case of war plan?
Yeah, it really depends on a lot of different things. You know, possibility of Ray Ball moving inside, Dallas moving inside. You know, if it's your time to play, it's your time to play. So if you got to be able to snap the ball to keep playing. So if that means Michael Dieter plays, then Michael Dieter plays.
So you would leave that as an emergency possibility.
Yeah, it's either that or walk off the field and not finish the championship game. So we'll have to definitely play him, and that's at some point. You know, that's the way it goes. It's not ideally. That's not what we wanted. We would have played him a long time ago, but Michael's on board. His family's completely on board and excited about the opportunity for him to play, quite frankly. Their dad was pretty fired up when I talked to him today and thought that this kid might have a chance to play. So great attitude they have.
It's like have these guys postseason practice as opposed to a normal? Is there a different feel around?
No, not really. No, it's business as usual. We're happy to be practicing, obviously. Glad we get to spend one more week with these kids, that's for sure. But just glad to be out here and competing. But yeah, we've been in kind of a round-robin single elimination here for a long time. So these kids are handling it just like they have for really the whole month of November.
There are guys on this team that have been involved in this game a couple times before. This is your first one. Is there anything that they've said to you about what it's like here?
No, not at all. Nope. We'll game's a game, stadium is stadium, playing a good team. You know, these guys are excited to be playing, I know that much. So again, the key is in these games is to just make sure you don't get too excited, that you hold the emotions to where they need to be and execute. And you know, Ohio State is a very good team, and Wisconsin's a very good team, and they're both going to tee off, and they're experienced enough now to go get prepared to play regardless of the situation.
Gary, do you like where your team's health is overall, despite some stuff on the offensive line? Are you guys mostly healthy going into this game?
Oh, you know, I don't think anybody can say they're mostly healthy walking into the 13th game of the year. So we've been fortunate this year. I've tried to be very careful with them the last month in practice, and so have the coaches, and quite frankly, so have the kids. So everybody's beat up. It's never an excuse late in the year. We're beat up, we're banged up, trying to practice them the right way but still get prepared. So if you could tell me we could sit back and say, hey, we're going to have you know, 10 days off before we play again, I'd probably take it. But no such luck in that area. So, but we're health-wise for playing 12 games in a very long season, and what we went through in the last month, I would say we're in good shape.
Monday you were optimistic that Clement would give you more.
Yeah.
Is that still
Absolutely. Yeah.
How
Feel
close
good
he
about
looked
it.
in practice?
Good. Very good. Yeah.
Fresh legs.
Yeah. He better. He should have very fresh legs and be ready to roll. But he looks good. So just like he did last week. But you know, a week of healing again does nothing but help.
No contact for him this week, though, right?
Hmm?
No contact in practice.
No, he banged around with those guys. Whatever the contact was down there, yeah, he didn't have on a green shirt or anything. He was ready to roll from what I saw. I don't think he had on a green shirt on anyway. Yeah, didn't look like it to me.
If you do end up having to use Michael Dieter, have you ever been in a situation like that before where late in the year you had to say, son, we need you?
Yep, yeah, quite a few times actually. Yeah, I mean, if you're in that position and you're on the travel team, he's down there, he's never taken one rep of prep squad team all year long. If you look back and say some of the young men that are in a position to play special teams in the skill areas, they get a few more reps. The offensive linemen aren't really afforded that luxury, if you will. They're not going to run down on kickoff or what have you, so it's kind of the role that they have to accept. Do I like it? Again, no, but where we were and our numbers, the way they were out of balance, you know, he's an emergency. We're not just going to say, hey, he's the next best guy. That's not what we're saying. We're saying in order to be able to continue and give ourselves a chance to win the game, and Michael, he's great with that responsibility. He understands it, and if it does happen, he'll have a redshirt year. It's a clause for him, an insurance policy, if you will. And if he doesn't, then he'll have 3 more years to play in the Big Ten and be a starting offensive lineman. That's still a pretty dang good spot to be in.
Has he taken the bulk of the reps with the ones this week, with Dan kind of being?
Really on Tuesday and Wednesday, those young kids typically take the bulk of the reps through practice. And so he's probably got a few more than he normally had. But he's he'll be ready to go. Walker Williams will be ready to go. Hopefully Ray will be ready to go. It's going to be, you know, just see how the game rolls, and hopefully Dan's ready and we don't have to cross that bridge. But if we do, at least we prepared ourselves and we're all prepared. If he jogs out on the field, no one's going to be like, oh my goodness, what are we doing? So.
Trent Denver still out there as well?
Yes, yes.
I think that catch that Rob Wheelwright made at the end of the Minnesota game can be a pretty good springboard for him, especially given how far he's come this year.
You would hope so. I talked to him about that Tuesday in practice. So here we go. He made a big-time catch in a big-time moment. It has to help you because you've been in the environment. It's one thing to do in a practice. It's another thing to do it in a big-time game, in a big-time moment. It's got to do – just this has to boost your confidence. It surely would myself as a person. I know it. I'm sure it did for Rob, and it seemed to. So I told him now we expect him to take off. So away we go.
Is this the best D-line you'll face this year?
Let's see who we play in the bowl game. But to this point, yeah, I would say that overall. I would say they're probably from the top 6. I would say probably the best defensive line that we've played. We've played some very talented defensive lines along the way, but from 1 to 6 is probably the most talented.
I know you asked about Boza early in the week, and understand
Yep.
because of his numbers, but those tackles are pretty stout.
They are.
What do you see from them when you look on tape? Can they get up the field as well?
Yeah, you know, what I've seen is I've seen them grow through the last year, even since we played them. You know, we got ready for them and played them, and they were fairly young. You know, I've really watched 63 grow and blossom. I apologize for not remembering his name at this point, but there's so many of them, it's hard to remember their names. And you know, Boza is who he is, but those inside kids have been very good pass rushers. They're stout and physical against the run. They roll them through enough to give them a good rest, and they're a very talented defensive front.
There's been a lot of coaching changes this week, and you mentioned Monday the challenge of keeping your assistants this time of year. Are any of your guys being pursued that you know of currently?
Not that I know of. So, and I'm sure they would tell me if they were being pursued, but they will. You don't have the year that we had and put up the numbers that you have on offense and defense without your coaches being pursued. So the challenge will be to obviously keep them here, and it's just a matter of time until they start getting phone calls. So they're happy, they like where they are, but you know, we'll see what happens as we move forward.